Hello everyone and welcome to this playthrough for Pro with the correct tournament win. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. It's time for the Labor Day tournament and it's time for me to go over how to play Pro Division. So we're going to start off with hole number 1, and as normal you can find in the video description down below, you can find direct timestamps for the specific holes in the playthrough, so you don't have to watch it all if you don't want to. So we're going to play left side here. The reason we're going to do that is because we are not going to have an upgraded big chopper, or we're going to not have an upgraded Thor's hammer or an apocalypse. If you do have a big topper level 4, level 5, then you can play in the middle by using a power 3 ball, or you can play with Thor's hammer or with an apocalypse and you only need a power 1 ball. So we play left side and we do adjust 10% extra for our drive, max topspin, max side spin to the right, and we do want to bounce just before like that outburst of the from the rough there. So you can see our opponent here is going to try to go in the middle, I believe. Thor's hammer level 4 does not have that much curl and not that much topspin either, so definitely in my opinion don't go left. Do either go straight or you go, don't go right, either go straight or left as we did. From that position we're going to have a rough bump opportunity. So as you can see here, going into the rough here is going to make of course a problem when it comes to going towards the green. Sure, it's going to be straight tailwind there for our opponent, or almost at least. So the thing we're going to do here now is that we are going to use the rough to bounce up there, and we are going to put ourselves in a position where we're going to use some slight amount of backspin, going over 1 bar, slight amount of over there, so 1.5 bar, as you can see, letting the ball guideline be through the hole. The problem we do have here when it comes to this side is that we are bouncing while having a little bit of side wind here, which is going to be tricky for us as we're going to hit a weird spot there. We do adjust for almost 6 rings, 5.8 rings with this adjustment. Need to bounce in the rough here to bounce it up. And as you can see there on that little bounce there, we bounced a little bit to the right, which is not something that we do want. So use tiny bit of side spin to the left and you're going to be way closer. So as you can see there, that was a way to play from the left side. Now I'm going to show you the same hole, but we're going to play in the middle here. So we're going to use a big topper here. And the big topper is going to have a lot of topspin. And that is the reason I'm showing this one to you. Because then we're going to end up in the middle and then we're going to have almost exactly straight tailwind, which is going to make it easier for us to try to go for the albatross. So, and when our opponent is making a shot here, do not forget to make a comment in the comment section below. If you do have any type of question, I will be happy to help you out with whatever you need help with. And check out like all the videos, all the whole guides and stuff like that for the Labor Day tournament, which is going to help you tremendously as well. Text guides you can find as well through the link in the video description down below. So our opponent making a shot here with the dead ball, and I don't know if you should be playing with a dead ball on Pro Division, to be honest. It will be absolutely enough with a Kingmaker in my opinion there. But a nice shot from our opponent. We have the big topper level 5. As I said, we can play this one with big topper level 4 as well, and might with big topper level 3 if you do have a power 3 ball. We're going to line it up here. The big toppers play 2.7 per ring, and so it's a very lousy accuracy. We're playing just slightly more than 3 rings, like 3.1, 3.2 rings, something like that, and then a slight amount of curl, not much, but in the end we need to go with a little bit more. As you can see here, we're getting a drive very perfectly there, but we're getting very close there as it slopes down a little bit to the right, so very close to the rough. But with the topspin there, bouncing it in the rough definitely help us big time. I do add 10% in my adjustment there for the drive, and adjust my drive for max distance number. So that is because we're playing slightly downhill, so the ball is going to affect it more by the wind. when playing in the middle, the dangerous part for you is that you can bounce in the rough directly, as I did when I tried to play in expert for the first time. I just bounced in the rough, and then we're not going to be able to read for the green in 2. So our opponent here is trying to go for the rough bump as well, and that is a shot that you need to go with if you're going to go for the albatross, in my opinion. Worst case scenario, if you're using too much backspin or just getting short in the rough, then you're going to bounce up, be on the fairway or on the fringe, then it's going to be an easy wedge for the eagle. So, as you can see here, we're going to be in minimum distance of our club when we have made our adjustment. So, we're starting a little bit higher, but when we're going to adjust, we're going to drag it down to min adjustment. So, we're going to adjust for minimum numbers here for our sniper level 9. So we're going to go, as you can see here, lining up, look at the ball guideline, 4.7 rings. And then just going to not go with any backspin or any topspin. We hit it perfect. Going to bounce there. Look, we're coming in a little bit too hot, otherwise that would be an albatross. So it's very, very close. We need to go with a little bit of a backspin there, guys. Other than that, I'm very happy with the shot, and that is definitely the best way to get that albatross that we're looking for. So, hole number 2, a par 3. Now we're going to see 2 shots as well here. One shot here in the beginning where you're going to see 2 shots with a sniper. Often the par 3s go so quick, so I want to go 2 shots, and one of them is going to be an hole-in-one. We're going to go for the rough bump. That is definitely the best way to play this hole. And from the second tee, we're going to it's going to be very, very important for us to be accurate when it comes to the wind, because we need to over adjust this one 5%. So we're playing at 5% extra from the distance we are. So look at this one now. You can see we're going to be dragging out here, and we're going to be in medium distance of our club. We're not going to be in max distance of our club. And we go with 3.5 bar of backspin. That would be my reference when it comes to the backspin there. Letting the ball guideline be just slight to the right of the cup. And you can see there, you can follow the ball guideline with the sniper. That is important. So 6.5, we're adding 5%. So we're going to go with around 6.3, 6.4 rings here with the Kingmaker. And then we're going to let this one bounce in the rough. You can see we're going a little bit too short there in the rough, and we're bouncing it up towards the pin. So now it's time for another try here with the sniper, with a Titan ball. We're going to go with the same type of adjustment and do just slightly better. So we're going to go with 3.5 bar of backspin here. As you can see, we did go with a little bit more than 3.5 bar for the first try. We're going to line it up so we are on the right side of the pin, but more inside the cup than we had the last time. And then we're going to adjust from this position here. As you can see, we're going to line it up, and we're going to use the take shot button. We are having 6.7, so we're adjusting a little bit more this time. So have in mind 5% extra, bounce it in the rough, coming in very nicely to make a hole-in-one. This is definitely a big opportunity in my book to make a hole-in-one. 5% extra with your adjustment. And if you do have more crosswind, then you adjust for mid numbers plus a little bit more than adding 5%. If you're going to have some headwind, adjust for max numbers there. So, okay, now we're going to play hole number 3. Hole number 3 is going to be a very tough one, and the thing that we do want to do when we do have some tailwind here is that we do want to go with as much side spin to the right as possible, combined with a half to 1 bar of backspin, depending on how much tailwind we're going to have. We go with 3 rings with an extra my level 8 and a 5.3 wind, and now we just want to hit the fairway here. The thing that we do have on this fairway is that it slopes a little bit down to the left with the bounce there, which is that we need to have that side spin to just push us back to the right so we can line up there nice and easy for having a long iron towards the pin. If you do have a power 4 ball, of course that shot is going to be much easier, but we're playing with a kingmaker to reduce the wind as much as possible, and I do believe that it's going to be the best way to play, to take a ball with a high wind resistance to and also some power, so you can get an easy time to get to that very narrow fairway. Have in mind that it's really important that you hit the shot perfect. If you do miss too much on great on either left or right side, then you could potentially put yourself in the rough either left or right. So our opponent is using the gear ball, trying to go on the left side. And of course, if you're playing on the left side, it's very important that you stay on the fairway. I rather go a little bit too short than going into the bunker, because this shot is going to be difficult, especially if you're going to try to go for the eagle. So we are going to try to go for the eagle. That is why we're choosing right side there. So also something that I wanted to add for the drive, you don't have to add anything for your drive. You can play just as normal there. So as you can see here, we're kind of mixing a little bit with the backspin here. We do have some slight tailwind, which means that our ball guide line is going to be extended just a tiny little bit. So we actually can get ourselves going with slightly more than 2 bars of backspin to just have the edge of the rough as a cutoff there. So it looks like we're going to bounce there. 3.5 rings. So it looks like we're bouncing in the rough, but we're going to bounce over the rough because they extend the ball guideline with the tailwind here. You can see we're just bouncing over there, which is perfect, and we roll it in to make an eagle on this tough par 4. Hole number 4, another par 3, which we're not going to play for the rough bump here. I know there is players that is going to play for the rough bump. I don't believe that is as consistent as we do want to have it. Sure, if you're very accurate, know exactly your adjustments, sure, absolutely in play. Other than that, I do suggest to bounce on the fairway, that tiny little fairway island you can see there on the right, and then bounce it towards the pin for a possible hole-in-one. Stay away from the left side, very important. If you roll down on the left side, then you're going to have a big problem when it comes to potting that one in, because you will have to most likely max overpower it. So we're going to choose a navigator instead. We're not going to play with the Titan because we do want to have some distance and some room there when it comes to bouncing there. So we're going to adjust this shot for being in medium distance with adding 10%. So medium numbers, adding 10%, using 1 square to the right of the pin to just have some distance together with that 1 bar of side spin to the right. The thing that we do want, as I said, we do want to have some distance from the pin towards our ball guide line, because we're going to be pushed a little bit more to the left, because we're going to have crosswind right to left. Slight amount of curl, not much, just a tiny little bit there. So just straighten the ball guide line out, and we're going very close. So you can go very aggressive on that shot, and it's going to be possible for you to drop that one in for an hole-in-one. But in the end, take that birdie, be happy with it, but stay away from the left side. Hole number 5, we're going to play with a quarterback. Max topspin, max side spin to the left, and we're going to adjust this one for 7 rings, as we would be max distance. No adding for the elevation, no adding when it comes to uphill or downhill. We're just going to make our shot on the fairway there. The reason I'm going to do that is because I don't have a club on this account to be able to go for the hook, and also you're going to have basically straight tailwind if you're going to have some type of a short iron, long iron towards the pin, and also the wood club if you don't have that. I go with a Titan ball because that is going to give me a power 3 ball first and foremost, and going to give me a long iron shot from max distance. And I do believe long iron shot from max distance, or like a wood club from minimum distance, it's easier to adjust when you're being around the mid distance of your club. So now we're going to have a long iron and to adjust for here, 7.4, and then we're going to adjust like for max numbers. Even though I have the tailwind, we're going to use max numbers for this adjustment. 2 bars backspin, always 2 bars backspin in my opinion here. Have the second bounce to have, as you can see there, like 2 squares in on the green. And then we're going to adjust for 7.4 with that tailwind here. We'll have to have in mind for the extended ball guideline that's going to happen. We're going to go with 4 rings here. And then we're going to hopefully hit it perfect and be very close. The thing here on this hole, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you do want, you can of course play for the hook shot here and try to reach further. The thing that you risk there, if you're not knowing the rings and you're not knowing your landing position where it's supposed to be when you're hooking your shot, then it's very important that just play yourself safe and don't go into the rough, because this is and must be an eagle hole, and you must give yourself an opportunity to at least have that long iron shot or a wood club shot from the fairway as minimum. So we go to hole number 6 here. Hole number 6 is going to be a course where we're going to play with the big topper again. And you can play with the big topper in whatever level here, even though you have it in level 1. The reason you can play with a level 1 is that you can play with a level 1 with more power, which means you need to have a berserker. Now we're going to have a big topper level 4 when we're playing this shot. Our opponent is showing the other side, playing on the right side, just making an easy drive to bounce up there towards that bunker, leaving an open shot towards the pin. And that is of course if you don't want to try to take the more aggressive route. But in my opinion, I believe you should be taking that aggressive route here on hole number 6, because it's going to give you definitely a big reward if you're going to hit it good. And the worst case scenario, you're going to be in the rough or in the bunker there, and then you're going to be able to ship that one towards the pin anyway. 5.1 with the big topper level 4. We do go with a kingmaker to reduce the wind a little bit there to hit that platform. 2.7 rings when it comes to the big topper there. And we're going to give ourselves from that position with a par 3 ball, we're going to give ourselves 2 rings. Just make sure that we're going to hit that fairway and be on the right side there to bounce. You can see here with the top spin, we do get to roll through the rough and roll out nicely there on the fairway. Unfortunately, I remember this from the stream. Unfortunately, we do miss the wedge, which was unlucky. Or not unlucky, it was a bad shot. But from that position, you do have a wedge that you should be making at least 99 out of 100 times to be able to get to that gold medal that you are looking for. So if we're taking the drive again, because the drive is the one that is crucial here. If you do have a big topper of 1, 2, or 3, go with a berserker ball, because you're going to have less distance on your big topper than you're having on a big topper level 4. If you're not having a big topper whatsoever, then you should be either playing left side or right side if you're not having an upgraded Thor's hammer or upgraded Apocalypse. And that I mean upgraded when it comes to Thor's hammer level 6 at least, or Apocalypse level 5 at least. So, painful to watch this wedge. This is like 5 miles per hour. I should just line it up like cup-wise. This is not going to be affected as much as we are adjusting, and then we hit it great as well, so yeah. So instead of watching that, check out this mug. A Team Tommy Boom mug. That's awesome. You can find that in the store. You know, you can find that in the store that we do have. So check out the video description as well here. And we'll find a link towards our merchandise store for shirts and mugs and stuff like that. Hole number 7, par 3. We're going to leave that wedge back there. Par 3 here, we're going to play with the quarterback. Even though we do have some tailwind, I would like to play with the quarterback instead of playing with the sniper. Going to play with a katana, 3 bars backspin, max side spin to the right. The key here, 4 bars of backspin of course. The key here is to get as high up on that hill, on the back of the green as possible, to make the ball fall back down with as much speed as possible so you can reach down towards the pin. So we're going to go 5.2 and win. We're going to add 10% extra in our adjustment here and play it as we would be in minimum/medium distance. You can see we're coming in here with that side spin, get it to bounce, getting up there, coming a little bit short there. Should be going more like 3.5 backspin, 3.5 bar backspin, and we'll be getting a lot more speed, but coming in nicely, and absolutely an opportunity to play an hole in one here when it comes to hole number 7. So, but there are some things with hole number 7 that is kind of crucial. One, side spin on your ball. I like as you will have to have as less a quasar ball, in my opinion. You do need to have that side spin that you do have, like side spin 2 as it's called in stat wise as well. Other than that, go max side spin with the katana, lined up, slight baby curl there in the end to just straighten the ball guideline up a little bit there. Hole number 8. And you can see here, we're going to play with an extra mile level 6. And you can see here me trying here directly to see how much curl do I have. It's not going to be enough, in my opinion, to play on the right side. So we're going to play on the left side. And we're going to go full blast down the middle. So we're going to straighten out there to kind of look here so we get the right angle here for us. Max curl to the right. Even though it's not that much curl, but max curl, max overpower, and we do hit it great, but it doesn't really matter. The reason we are going max overpower here is when we go max overpower with that tailwind, we take the bunker and the rough away from play as we're going to bounce over it. So we kind of can miss it great on the right side, and we can miss it great on the left side as well, and still be bouncing over the bunker there in the middle. Because the worst case scenario here is that you go into the rough or into the bunker there, you can see there in the middle. Then you have the trees in play, and you have no chance really, in my opinion, to reach for this green in 2. So for our second shot here now we're going to choose clubs that do have a lot of backspin. The Saturn, for example, the Thorn is good to have in your bag. The reason for that is when we're reaching this far, we're going to play with a long iron at least. So you can see we're having the backbone here, which is the wrong type of club, but we're not having an upgraded Saturn here, so we'll have to play with the club that do have the most backspin. And then we need to really line it up here to try to just use ourselves that fairway as a landing position. So we're lining it up, trying to see there. The green is uphill, and like everything is uphill, so that is something that we'll have to have in mind. Combined with having some tailwind as well, so the ball guide line is going to be extended, but in the end we're going to bounce uphill. So we can actually count for the ball guide line to be kind of the same as it is. 3.5 rings. And now the thing that we do forget here is that we do forget to use some curl. So as you can see here, we are not getting the bounce to the left, or we kind of forget to use some side spin to the left. Either side spin or curl there to kind of get it straight towards the pin. But in the end, just a secure and safe birdie for hole number 8. And hole number 8 is not an eagle hole. If you do have the curl on your club, on your driver, let's say, then I would suggest that you go on the right side with your drive. So you can get yourself in an open shot towards the pin. Then you're going to have straight tailwind towards the pin, which is going to be a really good opportunity to make that eagle. So, but don't do like our opponent, play with a basic ball. If you're going to do that, you need side spin as well to kind of help you to bounce away from that bunker. So we're going to put it in, we're going to take that birdie, and of course be happy with that. So our opponent's going to try here with the Thorn. And you can see on this wind, just picture yourself being on the right side with this type of wind. That is a wind that we do like. Definitely. Just straight tailwind, and we know if we just hit our ball perfect and we're going to adjust properly, then it's definitely going to be a good opportunity for us. So now it's time to focus on hole number 9. And hole number 9 for us is going to be, I will have to say, it's going to be a tough one if you're playing it with the wrong clubs. And the thing that we're going to do here, we're going to play hole number 9 with the big chopper. The big chopper is going to allow us to go with that maximum topspin. I'm going to choose the big dog as well to give ourselves that distance that we do want. So let's go for hole number 9. Hole number 9, let's go. So hole number 9 is definitely going to give us the big topper here. So as you can see, we do have the big topper level 5. As you can see, we did change account here. I did cut off, I did take another recording to cut in there as well, so you don't wondering what happened with my big topper level 4. Big topper level 5, Titan, 5.5 tailwind, max overpower. You will have to risk this if you're not having the top spin on, for an example, the Thor's Hammer, the Apocalypse. The extra mile is not the club to play with here, in my opinion. And you should hope for at least like 16 win. That is going to put you very close to the bunker and bounce over there. Have in mind that you don't want to be that close to the trees on the right, because then you're going to have a tough time when it comes to shooting your second shot. And that is also why we're playing with the big topper, to give yourself that top spin. And here as well, it's the same as we had for hole number, for an example, for hole number 6. That you can play the big topper there with whatever level you basically have. The thing that you need to do if you have a big topper like level 2, level 3 is to play with a berserker ball. That you can do here as well if you do have some berserker balls to spare, that you don't have to overpower that much if you do have a big topper level 4 or level 5. So, but it's definitely going to be enough to play with a big topper with a power 3 ball. And that top spin is definitely going to help big time to be able to get that eagle that we kind of must if we're going to win this tournament. So the second shot here, we're going to use the rough here. You can see, even though we reach very far with the big topper, we're going to be there on just after the rough there. We do want to bounce in that second rough, so we do get the ball to roll through the rough up to the pin. The reason we do that is that we do want to eliminate the possibility or the risk to be having a long putt. So we're going to adjust 7.5. We're going to add 10% to our adjustment here. Max top spin, max side spin to the right, and then just going to make let the ball roll through the rough here, nice and easy, roll towards the pin and make an eagle. So this was the playthrough for Pro Division in the Labor Day tournament. Check out the video description down below for direct timestamps for the specific holes if you don't want to watch the whole video. So again, if you do have any questions, I will be happy to help. Make a comment in the comment section below. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so good luck in the Labor Day tournament.